Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 55 of the Seezus Show. Another milestone, another week, much stronger, much better, feeling really great. Got my co-host right here, Trey. Obviously, I always introduce him, but we'll wait for that right now. Actually, let's change it up a little bit. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my co-host, my boy, Trey.
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing okay. Up middle of the week, or slightly almost there, almost a hump day. We on a Tuesday. We doing this 55 of the Seezus show. We about to get it in, man. Free agency is big summer. Let's do it.
How you living, man? You good?
I'm cool, man.
It's been good. It's been good. It's good.
Everything's all right.
Yeah, I was telling Trey I just came back from New York. I was in
Okay.
I was in Manhattan. I was with two of my boys, my brother, my cousin, and I was right across from Madison Square Garden at Hotel Pennsylvania. So I was in Brooklyn, I was in Harlem, I was in the Bronx, obviously Manhattan, Queens. I was everywhere. Got lost a couple times. Public transportation a little but I love it. So definitely want to go back. Got to go to the Metropolitan Museum, which is pretty dope too. You do anything exciting over July 4th weekend?
July 4th weekend, just rode out with some friends, did some cool stuff. That's all, nothing too crazy.
Okay, cool. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, before I always get into the new episode, I want to recap you guys, rehash with you guys the last episode. So on episode 54, it's pretty straightforward. You know, we talked about the NBA draft, top 10 picks, some sleepers that we thought were there. And then also we talked about our NBA free agent predictions. Got a few right and got a lot wrong. So it's just crazy how there's been this shift in the NBA. So let's get started. You ready?
Let's do it.
Cool. So the first thing I want to talk about in free agency was let's just talk about LA first, man. Wow. A lot of things have transpired. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest, obviously, there was the KD acquisition, Kyrie, all these other players going, to different teams, going from the East Coast to the West Coast to the East Coast. But whole time, obviously, KD's injured, for the whole year. So we're just like, we're just thinking, like, who's the next in line? Clay already resigned. Kyrie joined with KD. So we're waiting on Kawhi Leonard right now, you know what I'm saying? And earlier on, there was reports that he's either going to re-sign with the Raptors, right, or he's going to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. He met with the Clippers as well, too, earlier in the week. But according to all these analysts who be having the inside scope, said the Clippers were pretty much done. And he was heavily leaning towards the Lakers. And it kind of made sense, too, because it's like, obviously, out of respect, you won the Raptors their first championship. So out of respect, you're going to let them, have a meeting with you. Yeah. But I kind of thought about it. I was like, I don't think he's going to re-sign with them because, like, why would he hold off on them and save the best for last? Like, normally people who re-sign with the team, they
go to them first.
They do it right away. So it was crazy. I was actually in a club in Manhattan with my boys and my cousin, my brother. And out of nowhere, this one dude pulls up to me. He was like, "Yo," I was like, "What? Leave me alone, bro. Like, what do you want?" He just showed me his phone like this. I looked at it, and you know who dropped the bomb? The Woj bomb. Adrian Wojnarowski reported that Kawhi Leonard would be taking his talents to the West Coast, to that beautiful weather, to LA. And I was just shocked because I was like, dude, what? And then a minute later, Paul George gets traded. And
wow.
That was crazy. Like,
must have demanded a trade. He had to demand a trade.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. That was so crazy. Like, first and foremost, everyone else is playing checkers and Kawhi's playing chess. And we thought LeBron had power. Kawhi had power. He was like, all right, I'm thinking about the Lakers. I feel like he was going to go to the Lakers if Jerry West wasn't able to trade for Paul George. He would not have went to Clippers already. He would not went to Clippers by himself because I feel like he didn't want to carry a team anymore. We saw what happened.
He did carry the team.
He did basically carry them.
They had a great supporting cast.
They had a great supporting cast, but it's like you don't know who's going to be that legit second option every single night. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like carrying that team and knowing his injury history kind of took a toll on him as well too. So I think it was either going to be the Clippers or the Lakers. And it just makes you think, like, was he bluffing with the Lakers the whole time as well, too?
Interesting.
Because he didn't sign with the Lakers and he took so long and the Lakers were waiting on him, they passed on a lot of notable free agents that could have signed with them as well, too.
Yeah.
So did Kawhi do that intentionally? Was he always bluffing? We don't really know. So my thing is, Magic Johnson kind of made us believe that it was pretty much a done deal. Like, I really thought he was going to the Lakers. I was already envisioning, like, is he going to be the number one option, number two option? Is LeBron actually going to take that step back and have that more so that Magic Johnson role? Like, what's going on? So I think some things that came down to it was, first and foremost, he doesn't like the idea of a super team. And I think now since he went on his little run, one of the best finals performances, playoff performances of all time, I think he just declared and said, "Yo, I'm the best player. I don't really need much, but if you can give me a running mate, then I can win you a championship." And he kind of proved that last year, well, this past season as well too. And another thing I think he wanted to move to was the weather. And he's from LA as well too. He went to Riverside from Riverside. So I think that although Toronto's a beautiful city, it's cold over there, man.
Yeah.
And aside from his team, that's all he got there. Probably his girlfriend, his uncle, maybe his kids. But other than that, like, that's all you have. So I just felt like he felt more comfortable over there. And I feel like when you're in LA, that's another major market. So that's going to help your brand as well too. Another thing, I felt like knowing his history had with the Spurs, how things didn't turn out as going according to plan, and how not spoiled, but how well treated he was with Toronto. I felt like with the dysfunction that was going on in LA, I think that was another red flag. He was like, although y'all just got Anthony Davis, Magic Johnson got tossed under the bus. Jeannie, we don't know what she's doing. Like, we don't know really where this franchise is going.
Coach too.
And the coach too.
You're going to Doc Rivers. He's proven to win championships.
Exactly.
And he's coming from a great. I mean, not a great. I'll give him. He's coming from a really, really good coach.
Oh,
up
for
there
sure.
in Toronto, a new head coach.
Oh, for sure. And I love Nick Nurse. Credit to Nick Nurse, man. He's dope. But yeah, so I didn't think he really had that trust instilled with the Lakers organization. I don't know if they would have allowed him, like a LeBron James, to have his own medical staff join their staff on top of that too. And with the load management, we just didn't know how things would pan out with that as well too. And I think, obviously LeBron James sold him the idea of, giving essentially him and AD the keys and being that point guard. And I just felt like he was kind of iffy with that. And I think he's at that age where he, like I said, he knows he wants to be the best. So I don't think he wants to take a backseat to nobody. Yeah. And knowing LeBron James or just knowing any other player, when things aren't going your way, you automatically set that default button and go back to what you know. Yeah. So I felt like there would have been kind of some chemistry issues. Obviously, they would have figured it out later. But I think with that and then on top of depth, if they would have signed Kawhi with all these picks that they made, I just feel like they would have been like Miami Heat, mid-level exception players. And they already traded away their draft picks, so they really had nothing. That's true. I think that would have just that wouldn't have been a good look as well either. And then also Jerry West. Jerry West,
the logo,
is the GOAT. He drafted Kobe. He brought in Kobe. He got Shaq. He reinvented and helped the Warriors get to where they are, and now he signed traded for Paul George as well too. Dude, they're tough, man. And the depth, you know what I'm saying? They have who did they trade for? They traded away Gallinari, Jill Alexander, 4 unprotected first-round picks, 1 protected first-round pick, and 2 pick swaps. And their team is pretty tough, man. They still have their core intact. Beverly, who's a dog. They have Lou Williams, who is arguably, we had an argument about this a while ago. Who's the best six man? Lou Williams, I think he's the best six man of all time. Montrezl Harrell, who's a pit bull as well, too. Larry Shamet, Zubac, and Mo Harkless. And like you said, Doc Rivers. So it's like, how do you refuse that offer on some Godfather stuff? You know what I'm saying? How do you refuse that? But how do you feel about this trade that just went down on Kawhi, signing with the Clippers?
I think it just shows that Kawhi understands he doesn't have anything else to prove. You know, like he is the Dragon Slayer, the hero of the story. He's gone around. He's did it multiple places, and he did it in a way without other superstar help. And I'm not saying that Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili weren't superstars, because they were Kawhi was a young boy, but at the same time, he was young in the league and he contributed to that championship. Whereas you could argue that, and okay, LeBron didn't have those caliber players around him either, but LeBron didn't have the same impact that Kawhi had in those younger years too. Mm-hmm. You could say, oh, maybe if LeBron was in the same position. LeBron did get to what the finals. He got to the finals his first year, or he got to the.
No, he got there. He got there in 2007. He got drafted in 03, so his fourth year.
4 years, he got to the finals.
They lost to the Spurs, in 2007.
He got to the playoffs though.
Oh yeah, so second year.
He got to the playoffs the second year.
Yeah,
which was something like, oh, LeBron can do that. So there's talk around Kawhi's name, comparing him to LeBron, putting him in the same category as LeBron, as coming up players like Kobe Bryant, and all respect to the GOATs. But, Kawhi's did these prolific things, and he hasn't had to go, chase other superstars to do that. Was he in a good position with the Spurs? Yes. But, again, it proves that Kawhi feels like he doesn't have anything else to prove, so he can make decisions how he wants to make decisions. And for somebody that's leaves a championship contender, this has been, the most quiet it's been, because everybody's just like, he's the golden child. He can do what he wants to do. He really can. It's like, all right, Kawhi goes to L.A., and then he teams up with Paul George. When LeBron went down to Miami, there was grumbling. There was, when KD went to the Warriors, it was blasphemy. Kawhi's like, all right, I'm going to L.A. Cool, Paul George just came with me, and then we already have some dogs that kind of challenged the Warriors before. Granted, this is the same team, or this is the same player, not the same makeup, not the same coach. We'll give it that. But it's the same person, kind of cornerpiece, that just beat the Warriors 4-1 in the finals.
4-1. 4-2. Was it 4-1? No, it's 4-1.
4-1 in the finals. This is the same cornerpiece, and nobody said a thing. That's the scary part. You got Doc Rivers.
4-2.
4-2. 4-2. 4-2.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, but again, we haven't seen anything like that since. We haven't seen anything like that. We haven't seen the Warriors get beat like that. The best team with the best players on it, simple as that. You have Doc Rivers. You have Pat Bev, that people hate being on the floor with him. You have PG, that is a superstar within himself, but can still take the back seat or take the front seat given the game. He plays the game of flow. And we'll get to talk about Russell Westbrook a little bit later, but you put Kawhi in an opportune position in the West where you could see the team finishing 1, 2, or 3 easy, definitely with the state of the West right now, with so many people moving parts. And then you talk about Kawhi's legacy. You talk about was it a good move? You think about it. I think it was a marvelous move. You know what I'm saying? For at least Kawhi. And then you have his supporting cast coming with him in PG, and then again Montrezl Harrell, fall down the line of all the other players they have on the team. Mo Williams. It's easy money to see how they're going to be successful.
For sure. So, thing I want to talk about now is what are your expectations for the Clippers? Obviously, you said they're 1, 2, 3 seed. I think already they're favorites to win it all. I think so. Like you said, you got a well-oiled machine, 48-34 last year. You got one of the best coaches in the NBA in Doc Rivers right there. And then you have 2 dogs, Kawhi and PG. Now, I just looked up some stats. I think as far as wing players go, right now, I think they are the 2 best wing two-way players right now. So you kind of have to a lesser degree, you kind of have Kawhi, who's in his prime now, like an MJ, and now you have, PG, who you can say is kind of like a Scottie Pippen right now. So that's pretty crazy. And when you're looking at it right now, Kawhi is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Finals MVP. PG had a breakout season, finished 3rd in MVP, right behind Giannis and Harden. Played a total of 77 games last year, pretty durable, although he had some shoulder problems. 77 games, 28 points per and 77 games he played, averaged 28 points per game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 44% from the field, 39% from the 3, 84% from the free throw line, and he led the NBA in steals. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, I think to combine together, they have 9 all defensive teams combined, which is crazy. And then, like I said, when you add that core with them, they're going to be the best defensive team that we've seen in a long time. So we'll see.
So you think they're gonna harp on that defense to beat the Lakers? And I mean, just to get out the West, like they're gonna harp on that defense because the West in the past few years has really been offensive firepower. So what do you think is gonna be their defense is gonna win games or?
Defense gonna win game, and their offense is gonna win games too, bro. Like they're tough.
Okay.
They're tough. So yeah, the next thing I want to talk about, are the Lakers. We definitely have to talk about
Lake Show.
the Lake Show.
Best team in the
So
West.
although they lost out on Kawhi Leonard, they still had about $34 million in cap space to spend, which is amazing. Now a lot of notable players, you know what I'm saying, got signed. They didn't want to wait, you know what I'm saying, F all that. They got some good pieces, man. They acquired Danny Green 2 years, $30 million. Danny Green, San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, this is a Ginobili jersey, but diehard Spurs fan right here. And they were able to re-sign KCP, re-sign Rajon Rondo, get Avery Bradley up there, and DeMarcus Cousins as well, too. So
And Troy Daniels.
and Troy
Sharp
Daniels,
shooter,
sharp
VCU.
shooter, VCU. Let's get it.
Rambo.
But they made some moves, man. How do you feel about their moves that they made? Do you agree with it? And where does this put them in the West?
I think it's beautiful. I think they should have tried somehow, some way to get D'Angelo Russell. I don't know. I just have a soft spot in my heart for left-handed basketball players.
Ice in the veins, boy. Ice in the
And I think he would have been prolific over there too. I think I thought he was going to be like a sign and trade or something like that with the Warriors, something like that. But it seems like the Warriors are going to keep him for a while. We'll see what happens. That's going to be kind of scary too. I just think it's time. I mean, like he had a breakout year last year, but he plays the game. It slowed down for him. He's not on any foolery or being in whoever's business, yada yada like that. He's doing his own thing. Other than the water bottle weed thing or Arizona can weed thing. Come on, bro. But well, other than that, I think he's gonna be a really good basketball player. You put him around a team that's already gonna be really good, where he can be like a third option and play the point guard role.
Yeah.
Like I just thought. That's my D'Angelo Russell spill, but shout out D'Lo, shout out you. And but the Lakers, I think they made the best out of their money for not like getting a super brand name person. It's like your mom gives you some money for your birthday or something like that. It's like, oh well, you got $100. You can spend $100 on a new Nintendo Wii. This is hypothetical speaking, but you could get a Nintendo Wii, or you could get 3 or 4 games for the DS type joint. The games might be rocky. It's not the greatest thing ever, but the games, like, they're going to do what you need them to do. You can travel with them. They're portable. At the end of the day, you're going to have a good time with those games. I think what the Lakers did with their extra money and putting it into, like, a lot of small, valuable pieces that are going to help with the whole of the team was a lot better than what they probably could have did with, getting another superstar that wasn't Kawhi. All right. I think Kawhi, I'm not saying you don't get a big 3 because that's going to set up your organization for a while. And hopefully when you win a championship, it should win you a championship at least next year. But I think they set themselves up for the next 2 or 3 years easy to keep winning. And that's just me. You have shooters around you. You have LeBron that can play the point guard role. You have AD that can easily take over a game. And LeBron James that can easily take over a game. You retained Kyle Kuz, who's only getting better, and as under LeBron's tutelage, Rajon Rondo that is going to spread the ball around the floor amazingly. It's going to be amazing. Again, and you just got shooters around you, as well as just some young guys that you're going to teach up. They signed JaVale McGee, right, a rim protector, DeMarcus Cousins, who, again, this is another Warrior-like year for him, which is, as long as he stays healthy, hopefully he can do nothing but make the team better. And he's already played with AD. They had decent seasons together before Boogie tore his ACL. So I think it's big time. So
and it's crazy. Like he signed another mid-level exception. Like he only's getting like $3.5 million, which is nuts. Obviously, he had an Achilles injury, but I think what really messed him up was coming back from that torn quad too early.
Yeah.
And a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, Boogie Wash." Like no, like you said. when he came back from the Achilles injury, he was averaging like 16 and 8. And it was very efficient, and they actually looked scary when they had all 5 of them on the Warriors together. That it was OD. And we saw a little glimpse of it before he got hurt against the Clippers in the first round. But when you come back from that injury, like he didn't really get to get his strength and conditioning up. I feel like, and I feel like when you're a big man, it's even harder to get back in shape.
And you're in the playoffs, dude.
And you're in the playoffs at an all-time high. So I think with these couple of months that he has off, and the fact that you have 82 games to get to where you need to be, I don't really see him
taking a downgrade, like taking
it slow at all. I mean, I think he's going to be good to go. And that's just another diamond in the rough right there. If Kawhi, if any player can get the best out of him, it would be LeBron James as well too. So yeah, you kind of talked about a little bit LeBron James at point guard. So this will be the first official year that he plays at point guard. Not really, because he's been playing point guard since he's been in the league, but to actually be the he's always been the primary ball handler for real, because Kyrie was essentially their scorer, but LeBron was the facilitator. And even in Miami, Chalmers and Wade kind of shared it, but LeBron was still that facilitator as well too. But
that's what makes him the player he is.
Yeah. So how do you feel about LeBron James being at point guard? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes,
there's nothing we haven't seen.
That's easy. That's an easy, like, that's an easy answer on the test. If everything else is hard, that's the easiest answer. And like you've seen it before, like I don't have nothing to say about that. It would be dumb not to put him there. Why would you put LeBron at the small forward and put him in the post? All he's gonna do is pass out the post and go from there. He's a point forward. He always has to be. He's a forward because of his size. He's a point guard because of his basketball IQ and him being the best player on the planet.
Now, the thing is, like, the fact that he is a point guard or playing point guard now, I'm a little worried about how they are. So as a unit, collectively, I don't think they're the best defensive team, but I think they can still get you stops. I think Rondo took a step back, but I think he's still going to be effective. Boogie was never really known for his defense. AD's a dog. Kuzma's not really a good defender. They got Danny Green, and obviously they got Avery Bradley. We haven't seen what Avery Bradley, his potential. We haven't seen him in peak Bradley form, I think until he was on the Celtics, right? Yeah. So how do you think they're going to be defensively? Because if LeBron's playing point, he's not guarding any small guards. Yeah. Let's just knock that out the way. So I'm thinking if they have a starting 5, is he going to guard like a stretch forward type of player? And if he does that, so basically, what do you think the starting 5 is going to be? Because I think what they should do, I have to just see how Avery Bradley is, because I don't mind starting LeBron at the 1 with Avery Bradley, Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, and AD if you want to go small. Mm-hmm. Or you can do LeBron at the 1, Danny Green at the 2, Kuzma at the 3 with DeMarcus Cousins and AD. But I just feel like defensively, you're just going to take advantage of that. So I think they may start, well, I don't know. I think what I would want to see is Avery Bradley on the perimeter with Danny Green guarding the smaller players, and then Kuzma can potentially guard their wing with LeBron, and then AD obviously protects the paint. But like, what do you do?
Okay.
What is your starting 5?
Did they retain Lance Stevenson?
Did they?
I don't believe so. They haven't traded him anymore. He's a free agent though, but they haven't released him. I think he might have agreed to a deal, but we won't even add him for the sake of this conversation. LeBron,
they're going to be challenging
Danny Green, Bradley, AD.
Kuz? Or you having Kuz come off the bench and just give you 18, 20 off the bench like that?
I'm playing Kuz. Which
Kuz, it's your time.
I play Kuz, but I'd interchange him with I'd interchange Avery Bradley with Rondo. Yeah. Not saying that Rondo's an elite defender right now, but I think it would do very well. But I like Rondo off the bench. That's why I said Bradley first. So Bradley and then Rondo off the bench, because he's the general. He's going to make sure that you're, and again, this is the Pelicans team from a few years ago. He's played with DeMarcus Cousins before. That's a boost that you can like really take advantage of. Rondo's a smart player. Once it gets like around Christmas break, a little bit after that, going to like All-Star, when they should actually be in the swing of things. You know, that second unit is going to be really important. DeMarcus Cousins, I think DeMarcus Cousins is really going to find himself. A smart coach would switch up the lineup a lot of times, keep it fresh. He'll find himself starting. He'll find himself coming off the bench to give a good boost, as well as Kuzma will too. And I think Rondo is going to be that facilitator off the bench.
Yeah, because Luke Walton was terrible with rotations,
Yeah.
bruh. No shade, not really. Nah, you were terrible with the
I mean,
rotations,
facts
bro.
is facts. I
It
don't
was
know.
it was bad. Yeah, so I was thinking like, yo, like who do you start? Do you start Boogie with AD? Obviously, they do have that chemistry
off
together
the
for the
bench.
small stint. I say he comes off the bench until he proves himself, or just depending on what the
Health. I don't say prove himself. He just got to be healthy.
got to be healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say he come off the bench and like I know AD don't really like playing the five like that, but we're in a small ball era, so the only big men you really got to worry about is probably like DeAndre Drummond, Joel Embiid, Jokic.
The thing is, they didn't draft those. Not drafted. They didn't sign all these extra. Like they signed Denny Green. They signed Troy Daniels, who's a shooter. Kuz, who's pretty good from shooting outside. They didn't sign these guys for them to have to bang in the paint. They signed them so it could be a swing rotation, easy. All right, if you face some adversity, if you get double down and swing it around that extra pass, and then it's gonna open up either the backside or you can shoot the front side shot. That's easy. If not, it's gonna be a dunk from LeBron James, Kyle Kuz, or AD. Like that's or JaVale McGee with the backside lob. Granted, the system runs like that, but they should have too many shooters on the outside. At all times, there's probably gonna be one or two shooters on the court, and they should be the corners or the opposite, or just so as it goes. So if the ball's in the paint, and it comes into AD from that free throw line extended down to like the block, if AD or LeBron get it, there should be a shooter from that wing or to that corner, kind of like that triangle, or there should be a shooter opposite. You swing that, it's gonna be hard to beat them because you have LeBron that can dive from the top, or you can swing the ball one more to the pass, and then again, AD and LeBron are gonna relocate, and it should be hard to guard them. That's all I'm saying. It should be really hard. So I think as long as you have the right personnel in, as long as you adjust, you're gonna win games. You have a team that's set up to do so. So.
Okay. Cool. So with that being said, who out of both of the Los Angeles team has the edge? I vote the Clippers because they already have an established brand of basketball that they play. I think they have a coaching edge with Doc Rivers, and I just feel like the pieces for the Clippers are just going to gel together so easily. And obviously, when you're playing in the West, when you lose a game, you go from the third seed to the eighth seed. So I think they're going to have that advantage early on. Now, I think finished product, we can argue LA, the Lakers. But I think right now, and with the season that PG and with the season that Kawhi came off of, I give them the edge just slightly.
Just slightly. I'm going with the Lake Show. All right. I think. All right. This is where it really gets like you let history like dictate itself. LeBron's gotten the best of Doc Rivers, and Doc Rivers has gotten the best of LeBron.
But at the same time, when LeBron got the best of Doc Rivers, the Celtics' big three or big four rather weren't in their prime anymore.
Okay.
Let's be real with that one.
And then Kawhi has gotten at LeBron too in the finals. So
They tied 1-1.
We've had some parallels here, and we're not going to see them in the finals this year. We might see them in the Eastern Conference Finals, which is we see some big moves, and then we forget about all the other teams in the West. Even the defending Western Conference champions, which we'll get into, but we forget about it. We just want to make the narrative LeBron James and the Clippers, LeBron and the Lakers and Kawhi and the Clippers. That's what we want to see. That's what. That's what's going to bring in the money. That's what we're thinking anyway. But I would give the Lakers the advantage solely because of what I just said. I think they have enough of the offensive firepower. Do the Clippers have the defensive advantage right now? Yes, it's going to be offense versus defense. Will it cancel each other out? Eventually, if we see that, it probably will.
They'll probably average like 20 points per game
20
on
points
fast
per
breaks,
game.
bro. Alone, bro.
Yeah, so
Imagine just LeBron coming down. You already saw that one notorious clip when LeBron's about to shoot the free throw. Kawhi coming, he'd be like, oh, fuck. Now imagine when you have to get picked up by Paul George and Kawhi every possession. That's OD. That's going to take a toll on you too. And maybe I'm just on
It
some
might take a
BS.
toll on you, but I don't see
It's
them.
LeBron
I don't
James,
see them beating the Lakers.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't.
Hey,
I don't.
we'll see. Only time can tell. So goes to my next topic. Since not LeBron, sorry. Since Kawhi has changed the landscape of the NBA, also with KD by not re-signing with the Warriors. Now instead of a super team, we have this dynamic duo era, and now I just feel like every team, at least a third of the NBA teams, really think that they have a chance to compete for a title. It's kind of a little even in some way. So who do you think is the best duo in the NBA? I'm gonna name some names or duos for you, and then after I name those names for you, let me know who you think the best dynamic duo is. And we can make it, so
I'll go top three.
all right, we'll do top three, and I'll name all the duos that I can think of right now. We got Luka Doncic, Porzingis for Dallas. We got LaMarcus Aldridge, and we have DeMar DeRozan for the Spurs. We got Dame and CJ. We got Chris Paul and James Harden. We got Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley. We got DeJounte, no, not DeJounte Murray. What's his name? Moody? No, Murray. Murray and Jokic. We got Kyrie and KD. We got Ben Simmons and Embiid. We got Giannis and Middleton. We got Steph and Clay. We got LeBron and AD. And we got Kawhi and PG. Who are your top three?
My top three. There's a lot of good ones in there.
It's tough.
There's a lot of good ones.
And are we considering barring injury, or are we considering going into the season? Because if you go into the season,
Barring
you got to
injury.
take off. So barring injury. Okay.
Barring injury.
So let's do barring injury and then considering going into the season.
All right. So my barring injury, and I might get some heat from this, but I'll give you. Damn, I just missed one. I'll give you. I'll give you. I'll give you LeBron and AD.
One,
I'll give you Dame and CJ.
two,
And actually, you know what? I'll give you Dame, CJ.
one,
I'll give you
one.
one.
Barring injury.
I'll just give you top three. Not.
Okay.
Not.
Oh,
Not.
just give me
Yeah.
top
I'm just
three.
giving you top
Give me
three.
a top three.
Dame,
Give me a top
CJ.
three.
And somebody, I'm gonna get a he's sick comment from this. Dame, CJ, Greek Freak, and dude, and then I'll give you Kawhi and PG.
You knew that was coming. You're
Just
sick.
out of efficiency, dog. Not saying these people can't score, and I'm not saying we're playing twos with them, but what they do for their teams, what they really do for their teams. You know, you have KD, you have Kyrie out there, but I mean, granted, I give KD everything, but look at Kyrie. We've seen Kyrie in the dynamic duo with LeBron James, who is an elite passer, scorer, an elite point guard in the league, and a player. We haven't seen that point guard type role from KD.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've seen him handle the ball, but we haven't seen that kind of like that fluidity. What I'm going off of is the fluidity that you can play with the person, you can complement the person. I'm not saying they won't be able to, but proving fluidity, you know, I think the Greek Freak is my X factor. He's the one you could be like, all right, Tre, you're crazy, you know, but he's the X factor because he just got the MVP. He's big and tall enough to just kick it out, you know, to his counterpart. So that's why I put it as I did, because Dame and CJ have been proven. And then Kawhi just was the Finals MVP, and we saw how PG played in tandem with Russell, who we think per se, you know, people are darting out of Oklahoma because they don't want to play with Russell Westbrook. PG has withstood that, and he's got to play with Kawhi Leonard. That's easy. And then, you know, the Greek Freak is my X factor. So.
Six.
I can back it up. I can back my shit up.
I mean, I love Middleton's game, but I feel like you can place another player. You can replace him, and Giannis just still gonna be Giannis. Now, if you're talking about players or duos that are established, and we're just naming a top three, how do you not put Steph and Clay together like they ain't won 3 championships
Did you say
together?
Steph and Clay in that list? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't say.
Steph and
I'm
Clay
sick. I'm
are
sick.
number one until they lose. Like they're number one, bro. Like
Provocative.
3 championships. I know 3 championships. Was it 4 or 5 straight finals? You cannot beat that. The Splash Brothers so efficient. You can't beat that.
can't.
That's one. Number two, I'm going with Kawhi and PG. Like you said, Kawhi just came off an MVP, a Finals MVP run. PG just was number 3 in MVP voting, and they're the best two-way players. I think they're gonna wreak havoc on the wing, and I think their defense alone is just gonna win them 50 games, which is gonna be ridiculous.
Who's playing point guard for the Clippers?
Beverly.
Okay.
Yeah. You just got to facilitate a little bit. Kawhi and PG going to do their thing, you know what I'm saying? And number 3, AD and Bron. Is that you know the
That's why
answer
we
with
traded
that.
him.
That's why we traded
That's
for
why we
him.
traded for him.
AD's in his prime, is a walking double-double, 20, 28 and 12 in his sleep. And then you got LeBron, who just came up with 27, 7 and 7.
Who probably could have went harder.
Who probably could have went harder. If he didn't injure his groin, they would have definitely been in the playoffs. And you have LeBron James, who's basically, this is the most rest he's gotten since he came into the NBA.
That's so wild.
Dude, it's gonna be OD. And we're
And
gonna
he's not
see.
gonna be going that hard because he's playing a point guard role. He's not gonna bang with anybody anymore.
Exactly.
He's not. You know.
Exactly.
He's playing a perimeter.
Exactly, bro.
This is the most he's ever played the perimeter in his career.
Exactly, bro.
He's gonna play for a long ass time, though.
Yeah. And so those are my 3 picks. Moving on to the next topic. I was ready to see you sick. Moving on to the next topic. Russell Westbrook, man. Now Russell Westbrook is one of my favorite players of our generation. You know, just his will to win, his status quo, his motto that he lives by. Why not? I just love him. He always gives effort. He never really cheats the game. Obviously, when KD rocked, he took a lot of the blame. Everyone said we really couldn't play with him. He had a chance to get Oladipo paired with him after that. Then he had a chance to get Paul George with Melo. Then Paul George re-signed. And things just never worked out. You know what I'm saying? So since KD left, he was 4-12 in the playoffs. Had 3 first-round exits. Lost to Houston, lost to Utah, and lost to Portland. And now that PG's gone, he still has about 3 or 4 years left on the Supermax deal. Every year is roughly worth about 38 to 40 mil a year. And now we're thinking, since you traded PG, does that automatically let you know that it's the time for a rebuild? How do you feel about Russell Westbrook? And do you think that it's time to hit that reset button? Because like I said, ever since KD left, they were relevant, but they weren't a contender for a championship, which really sucks. Every year we have these high hopes for them, but it's the same thing every year. And part of it, honestly, I kind of blame. You put a percentage of the blame on Russ. Obviously, he's adjusted his game year by year, but he wasn't as efficient this year. This was one of the years where he was least efficient, but he did take that back seat and let Paul George flourish. But I felt like when it was always the crucial moments that mattered the most, he just didn't have that switch to be that floor general we want him to be, just jacking up shots when it's early in the shot clock or just making these decisions that weren't really well thought out. So you kind of put a percentage on that. Billy Donovan, I don't think he was really the best coach for them. And even Scott Brooks was kind of a mediocre coach. He just had great talent around him too. So I think coaching, and then also you got to put a blame on Sam Presti, because with Sam Presti, the GM, he could have kept James Harden. All they had to do is pay, $5 million more to go over the luxury tax. Didn't want to do that. They let him rock. You know what I'm saying? They felt KD, basically they were coming out with this report saying that he felt like they kind of treated him like a kid there too. He rocked. And then you have these 3 years post KD to build around him. Obviously, you brought in Oladipo, but at that point, Oladipo wasn't Oladipo yet. Oladipo wasn't Oladipo until he went to the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Paul George, obviously, that first year, it's a my turn, your turn with him, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo. So you guys are really not. No one had they didn't have defined roles. It's just we're gonna figure it out every night. It's kind of like a pickup type of game as well too. Yeah. And then, although you had like another star to pair with him, I felt like they didn't take that same model with like a LeBron James and like a Giannis Antetokounmpo or even a James Harden to another degree, where you have a dynamic playmaker with him that can score and get his own buckets. But other than that, you surround shooters around him. And I felt like OKC never really surrounded the right team around Russell Westbrook. But do you think he should be the blame for OKC about to blow up? And then after that, do you think he should stay, or do you think he should be granted that right to, change his career around and go to a new team and, see what he can do from there while he's still in his prime?
I think I don't think Russell Westbrook should harbor the blame. I mean, does can you look at it and say, all right, a lot of this should fall back on you? Yes, only because he's been the most consistent variable in all of this. Has been Russell Westbrook. But what's also been consistent is his numbers, it's his play. I mean, you get it to the end of the year and you say, oh, some shots here, some involvement here, some point guard play here or there. But year after year, he brings the same constant, the numbers that aren't changing drastically. He averaged a double-double.
Triple double
Triple
3
double.
years in a row.
He averaged a triple double 3 years in a row. Russell Westbrook isn't changing, dog. Like, he's not changing. So as an organization, as a coaching staff, once the organization deems it, so you have to figure out how are we going to get a walking triple double help, or how are we going to, that's not on Russell Westbrook. It's on Russell Westbrook to be a basketball player. That's what he's doing. None of that is on Russell Westbrook. With all that being said, he needs to hightail it out of there, man. There's no freaking way that Russell Westbrook should accept anything from the OKC anymore, because it should just be a breakup. Like, all right, let's go. You can figure out somewhere else, or you can go get paid. I wish in my heart of hearts, and I'm not Stephen A. Smith about this, but just being a basketball player, just being a person of logic, I wish that the New York Knicks would get it together. Like, I saw a headline that was like, yo, they didn't even have an offer prepared for KD.
Because they were worried about his health. Like, no, dude.
Like, are you sick? Are you stupid? Are you mad? Are you dumb? Choose one. But are you sick, dog? Like, what in the world? Like you don't have an offer prepared? And then I would be licking my chops, because Russell Westbrook is still somebody you can build around. It's still somebody that will bring excitement to New York City.
Superstar.
And, it's New York City. Nothing's going to drive the media. New York City does it itself. Just like L.A., the market does it itself. It didn't have anything to grip onto until LeBron and them got there. Now it's like, all right, now it's the story. It's New York City. It's Madison Square Garden. Throw this dude a bone. You see he wants out. Or like, but being Russell Westbrook, that was my Knicks spill. You hate to see somebody do bad. But Russell Westbrook should get hightailed out there. However he can figure it out, he should go. And he's a loyal person. He's a dog at the game, and he's been so consistent. It was suck to see him go, but we don't know what OKC is doing. And they just traded for multiple first-round draft picks from the Clippers. That's a rebuilding team. You're not going to sit and go into the twilight of your career while the team's rebuilding. LeBron didn't do that, And LeBron's got as much slack from not as much slack, but he's got the most criticism from anybody. Nobody's gonna criticize Russell Westbrook because he's been consistent. Other than Dame, for real, he's been that player that's been like, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna win here. I'm gonna win here. I'm gonna stay. You can't fault people for that. All they do is play basketball. All Russell Westbrook has done is play basketball, and he should go.
And I know he wants to win, so I think he needs to get out of there too. But before we even get into where we think he should go, and that's another thing, and I always come back to this in basically damn near every episode, bro. These small market teams cannot attract free agents. You either have to build through the draft or you have to trade to get a player. You're not going to sign some top-tier talent. It's always going to be those medium type of players. Like, it's really, really hard, man. So PG rocking, no one else is going to sign with them.
At all.
And you have all these big contracts like Steven Adams and whatnot. You can't really get nothing for that. So Russ got to rock. So there's 4 teams that I have in play that I think he can potentially go to. One is Houston. Obviously, I would think it would have to be like a 3-team trade. So I would put him and pair him with James Harden again. Get rid of Chris Paul's contract and let Chris Paul be the one that ends up in New York, or Chris Paul ends up in Miami. That's one. 2, Miami Heat. I think they can get rid of like Dragic and then someone else, and that would essentially equivalent to his salary that he's making this year. I like the pairing of him and Jimmy Butler. They're those two dudes that don't take
No.
no bullshit, and I think just to bring excitement and ratings as well too. I think they'll easily be a top four seed in the East. And then three, which would be my dream, and this is where I think he should go. If you can find any way to link up with the Greek Freak and still keep Middleton,
That would be kind of disgusting.
that would be OD. Easily finals favorites over any team. But that's where I want him to go. In the perfect world, the Milwaukee Bucks. And it sucks too because it's like if we would have known this was going to happen, where Paul George demands a trade,
It would have
and
happened a
Russell
lot sooner.
Westbrook's open to that. You could have held on to Brogdon and used him as bait right there and
Yeah.
just made a swap. But I don't know. Where do you think he should go?
Miami.
Miami?
Yeah,
Makes the most sense.
I mean, he deserves it at this
I
point.
think, yeah.
And then you think about it, is you think about, you start your career off, it's like, all right, I got to get my foot in the door or whatever like that. And you work somewhere. We might not love the scenery for forever. And it's like, all right, but you're making that money. You're doing it. You're killing it on your job. Your leisure time's cool. But what if you could go
And
live
then
in
tax in Florida.
Yeah, no tax in Florida, But that's easy, bro. That's like, I'm going to go live the dream in Miami.
Play with Eric Spoelstra.
Bet. Hopefully not get hold by Pat Riley, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, crazy. So we're gonna briefly just go through some of the major signings, and then from there we can wrap things up with the the summer league and whatnot, the starter and whatnot. So first thing I want to talk about is I thought this was going to be the biggest headline. Clearly not. The Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets signed Kyrie.
Kyrie, you want to be the what? You want to be the star player.
So they signed Kyrie, they signed KD, and they got DeAndre Jordan. So Kyrie and KD didn't get the full max. Basically, the full max, I think they just took off $5 million each. That way they can create some space for DeAndre Jordan to get his $10 million a year. Great core: Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Karis LeVert. How do you feel about, obviously we already knew Kyrie was going to go there, but how do you feel about KD? Obviously he's going to be gone for a year, but how do you feel about KD, making this change and actually restoring the balance to the NBA? Thanos' whole thing was to, I want to get the Infinity Ring. I want to deplete half of the universe to restore that balance. How do you feel about that balance being restored with KD being there? And how do you just feel about the Brooklyn's move, and what do you think they're going to do this year, man?
I think the balance being restored to the universe was it's pretty cool. I mean, NBA is going to be a really fun league this year. On both sides, chopping at the bit. I think that Brooklyn this year,
Probably be like how they were last year,
essentially, but
I think they'll win because I think they had a losing record. I
Yeah.
think they're like 38 and 44 or some shit like that. I think they'll win I think it'll be like 42 and 40.
and then again, maybe Kyrie wasn't happy last year. He was hurt a little bit too, but
Clearly wasn't happy.
I think we'll see a much better Kyrie this
Yeah,
year.
and he finally gets to choose where he wants to go.
Yeah.
His favorite team growing up was the Nets. And like I said, they have a great coach, well-knit organization from
Jersey.
top to bottom. He's from Jersey. And they have a great young core intact there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he takes his level up to another step. Now, what are your expectations of Kyrie, like production wise? And the biggest thing for me, honestly, is like he kind of got tossed into the fire by getting traded there, and he had to basically grow up real fast and try to become a leader. Do you think this? And the way he's just built, do you think he's learned from that, or do you think it's going to be a little rough patch starting off trying to be a leader? Knowing KD's not there. I mean, KD's probably going to be there eventually, just be dressed up in a suit on the sidelines or whatnot. But how do you see Kyrie as a leader, and then do you think that's going to affect the whole morale of the team?
I think going on the suggestion and the clue that hopefully Kyrie's not insane, that he'll approach it differently. Sometimes stuff doesn't go the way you want it to go. yada yada yada. And I mean, that's what we see. Where we're all growing. I mean, just like I could go from a job and like it didn't go the way I wanted to go. Hopefully, the next job I'd approach it a little bit differently, and I expect them to see me like I'm not just what happened in my past job. And it wasn't a complete failure or shit show per se. In Boston, it just didn't work out how they wanted it to work out. I think Kyrie's gonna come in with an open mind, ready to play basketball, and do what he does on the court as well as lead. Because we saw, you know, that beginning summer when he was over there, like that was at night I think of you, like with those videos of him dancing and stuff like that.
Back was on the Cavs.
Yeah, yeah. Was that Cavs? I thought it was Celtics because they were playing.
The challenge.
That challenge, and then I'm just thinking about the time, but and then when they were playing King of the Court, and we saw like Kyrie just scoring on everybody and stuff like that, and then we would see some of the games and be like, oh, we see Jason Tatum doing moves like, oh, Kyrie taught him that move. That's definitely Kyrie in this game. I think that was like the hottest time for Kyrie when we think, oh damn, like this Celtics team is a problem. I mean, that was before he got hurt and they made that run without him. And then I feel like the dynamic of it changed since then. And then did he come? He didn't come back. They just lost because he wasn't able to get back because he had knee surgery. But it's been a dynamic change since then. I think a resurgence, Kyrie being what he wants to be, and it's just a new feel, a new look. We'll see that Kyrie again, that before the knee surgery Kyrie, and that feel, that kind of energy around him playing, as well as knowing that, look, I don't have to bet it all this year. Like whatever happens this year is going to be an improvement from everything that happened last year for this team and for me. And then two, I'm getting the best scorer in the league, damn near top 3 player in the league coming back. So it's not no pressure on them. It's gonna be a good year. I think the Nets are they're gonna understand that there's a bigger picture of this in the next 3 or 4 years, and they're gonna ride that wave and not rush anything.
Yeah. Minor setback for a major comeback.
Yep.
And like you said, experience is the best teacher. So I think he's gonna learn from this. And I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people this year. So he's just gonna be happier. So it's gonna be dope. Do you think KD is gonna get back to 100%?
Not right away, but I think KD is still gonna be a top 3 player in the league, top 2 once he honestly gets back to full health, or maybe depending on barring LeBron and AD. I think AD might really take off given he's playing across side from LeBron James. So he'll be top 3, top 4 player in the league, and probably the best scorer still. Once he gets back, he just has to really take his time with the recovery. That's huge.
Cool. I want to kind of switch gears here since we were talking about essentially Kyrie's, season with Boston. Boston, added Kemba Walker and Enes Kanter. Obviously, they lost. Al Horford, they lost. Kyrie Irving, they lost. Terry Rozier as well too, who was really part of their core. I'm happy that Kemba got the up out of there. We were right that he was going to go to Boston as well too. How do you think Kemba's going to fit? And do Tatum and Brown actually take that next leap?
I think it's going to be.
And do you think there's gonna is there gonna be any sort of headbutting as far as like egos? It's my time. You know what I'm saying? It's my possession. I don't want this. Tell me about that.
I think for the most part that Brad Stevens coaches to a teamwork system and to all right, let's do this. We'll get these results. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying the numbers will take care of itself because NBA it is a game where it's like, yo, like I gotta get my numbers so I can get paid eventually. But granted, I think if you buy into a Brad Stevenson system, who is a proven coach in the league and in college, that you win, that's easy. And I don't think there'll be any button heads. I think there's enough ball to go around. I really think there is, as long as you play towards that. You still have Gordon Hayward, who probably wasn't 100% last year.
He's going to be very good this year.
Very good. You have Jaylen Brown, and you have Jason Tatum too, who you got to find your spots. And those are the kind of guys that can go off. You can really go off, and you don't have to. Other than maybe like that next pass mentality that you should have when it gets down to the nitty gritty, there's so much basketball to play. You can get your numbers. You can be prolific, and you can still flow in the system and know what everybody can do going into the playoffs. So I think if you buy in as a Boston Celtics team, granted you have a new leader in Terry Rozier, and Kemba Walker, who hasn't had anybody to pass to in the past, who
He's been carrying.
who's been carrying a team. This is going to be new territory for everybody. But I think if you buy in, you can get to that 1, 2, 3, 4 playoff spot in the East. I'm not calling them one, but you can get up to like 3 or 4 in the East easy.
I think there'll be a 2 or 3 seed. I think they're going to be fighting between. It's going to be between them and Indiana on who gets that 2 or 3 seed. Then again, we have to see what really happens with the Raptors as well too, because I think Siakam is going to average damn near 22 to 25 points per game. I think he's going to take Kawhi even to heart.
Any hope for the Philly? Any hope for the?
Oh shoot!
You
I
know
forgot. All right. So
Philly.
So 3 or 4. I see the Celtics being a 3 or 4 seed. Okay. Actually, I got Philly as 2. So let's just go into Philly right now. Philly added a couple players as well too. Right? They re-signed Tobias Harris to a max contract. Ben Simmons just got the max as well too. They also ended up signing Al Horford, and then they got through trade Josh Richardson as well too. Obviously, they lost J.J. Redick and Jimmy Butler, but what do you expect out of that team? Embiid, Simmons, and will they mesh together? Because they have 2 legit centers that are going to be starting side by side.
That's the one that I've been struggling with the most. It's like, all right, what are the 76ers going to do? Bond, they just traded Jimmy Butler, or they didn't trade it, but he lost Jimmy Butler on free agency, who was really a staple of their team. We've seen they lost by a shot. And I always say this on this podcast, but they lost by a shot in Game 7 of the semifinals of the Eastern Conference. They could have won that game. And we've seen everybody on that team before except for Jimmy Butler, and now Jimmy Butler's gone to the Heat. I see them taking a step back.
Me too.
Honestly, which is when you came in and you said that I see them doing 2 and 3. I could honestly see that because unless Ben Simmons is gonna shoot the consistent jumper,
that's not going to happen in the span of 3 months.
I think Embiid is probably the best center in the league right now, but you
could argue Jokic too.
We haven't seen it. We have not seen it.
Most.
So I got Milwaukee, I got Celtics, Toronto, Indiana.
Yeah, and we can. Yeah, so we'll see. Honestly, it really just depends. They're gonna really miss the dog mentality in Jimmy Butler. I think it's a plus that Tobias Harris is coming back because he's gonna. He got traded. He's only played half of the games for them, less than half of the games for them. So I think he's gonna be a bit more comfortable, and he has stability. So he doesn't really have to worry about that. So I think we're gonna see the best out of him as well too. But they're gonna miss shooting from J.J. Redick as well too. And like you said, it really honestly depends on the growth of Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons doesn't come out of his shell and doesn't want to shoot, at least just shoot. You know what I'm saying? I think they're going to be right where they're at. If anything, get to the second round, possibly conference finals, and that's it. That's it.
And do people sleep that last time that the Indiana Pacers were in the playoffs? Yeah. Like deep in the playoffs, not deep in the playoffs, but like really competitive in the playoffs.
They took 7.
Took LeBron to 7 series with Victor Oladipo.
I say that too, but at the same time, Celtics also took him 7, and at the same time, this won't be the best LeBron James team. You can argue that was probably one of his worst teams since he brought his team to the finals when they beat the Pistons. But you can't take away credit. They did take him 7 games, and it could have gone either way as well too.
I think I respect the Pacers organization so much, and I always give them that
they're
bone.
A very well run team, and they play so beautiful.
They don't push the panic button.
They don't.
They've never just we're gonna scrap it. It's like no, Victor Oladipo's tough,
and they're about to add Malcolm Brogdon. They signed Jeremy Lamb as well too. And like you said, Oladipo, they're getting their superstar back. Last year they were 48 and 34 without him. I think they got the 5th seed. So yeah, I think
TJ McConnell.
They got McConnell too.
Mm-hmm. Shooter.
Damn. And they still got Sabonis, and they still got what's the big man name?
Yeah, forgot his name, but yeah, they still got him.
So yeah, they're gonna be dope. Now I'm just curious to see how Victor Oladipo transitions back. But if he can get it going by All-Star break, they could probably be the team that goes to the Eastern Conference Finals. Honestly, it really just depends, man. The East is still up for grabs, but at the same time, we'll see. Definitely. How you feel about the Spurs made some moves as well too. They just signed Marcus Morris. They also got DeMar Carroll. They drafted Keldon Johnson, got Luka Samnak. So they kind of re-upped on their wing, and then also obviously DeJounte Murray, go Spurs go, is coming back as well too. So a lot of people saying this team and that team with Coach Pop and that system, it hasn't proven to fail yet. They're going to be tough as well, too. And DeMar DeRozan got thrown into that fire. He already knows the system now as well, too. I think they're going to be really, really good. I think they're going to be very great defensively. And I think they're easily a playoff team.
Yeah, they'll be a playoff team, but say something we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. We're always going to be in the mix.
For sure.
In the playoffs.
And then the Blazers ended up getting added Kent Bazemore, and then they traded to get Hassan Whiteside. So they lost Miles Leonard, I think, and then they re-signed. What's that left-handed shooter's name?
They re-signed.
What's his name?
Put me on the spot right now.
I can't remember his name. He used to play for Utah. Then he got traded to the Cavs. Rodney Hood.
Yeah.
So he played pretty good in the playoffs. But do you think these are the pieces that they need to get over the hump? And obviously, like I said, there's been a shift in the league. So
this is the biggest tweak we've seen from the Blazers in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it works out.
And Jokic's going to come back too.
Yeah, I'm hoping it works out.
Not Jokic. I'm saying Nurkic. I'm sorry.
Nurkic. Not Nurkic, but Nurkic. I'm hoping it works out to be a positive for them. But what's next for the Blazers? It'd have to be the Western Conference Finals
again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were up 17 every game, although they got swept. So I think they'll learn about controlling the pace of the game. But at the end of the day, the Warriors are just the Warriors.
They won't have to play a team like that again, though.
They won't.
Not this year, anyway. So we'll see what happens.
Definitely see what happens with them as well, too. And then the Warriors, you talked about that a little earlier. You excited that they got one of your favorite players, young players, D'Angelo Russell. Obviously, they lost Kevin Durant. Andre Iguodala got traded. DeMarcus Cousins went to the Lakers. And then Cook, we forgot to talk about Cook
he went
on
to
the
Lakers
as well, too. He left as well, too. So they're not what they used to represent, strength in numbers. But how do you like the D'Angelo Russell trade, and do you think him and Curry can coexist?
Of course. I feel like it's so crazy. It's probably the easiest player to play alongside.
Yeah, for sure.
You pass on the ball.
Play off the ball.
And play off the ball. Easy. That's self-explanatory. I think they'll be all right. I think they'll round up one of the top three. They'll round up one of the top 4 seeds in the West.
Yeah? Okay. Any other players you want to talk about?
When it comes to NBA free agency, I think that pretty much sums it up, to be honest.
As far as the major moves, I mean, obviously like J.J. Redick and the Warriors also signed Willie Cauley-Stein, I think, too, which was huge for them. But yeah, J.J. Redick, and I think they signed that other big man from the Utah Jazz. I can't remember his name right now. I'm going blank right now. Utah Jazz, big man. Oh, Derek Favors.
Favors.
Yeah, Derek Favors. So, I mean, other than that, like those are the biggest, biggest.
Mike Conley, Utah
Jazz.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that last part though? Because he got traded before, right?
He got traded early?
I think he got traded earlier. Yeah, he got traded before free agency started.
To go right back around, though, Mike Conley, Utah Jazz, who's always been up there. They found a way to beat the Thunder, which I guess we can acknowledge now that the Thunders have always had problems in the playoffs. But, maybe this new look will be huge for the Utah Jazz. I'm not putting them anywhere near the top of the West, but you never know because it's a game of consistency when it comes to the West, and seeding helps the younger teams anyway. So we'll see what happens.
For sure. So I'm going to sum it up. I'm going to be real quick with it. Summer League just tipped off last week, Friday, actually, and Pelicans played the Knicks. Pretty excited about that. We got to see the top tier or the number 1 pick versus the number 3 pick going at it. So we got to see Zion Williamson going up against his buddy from Duke, R.J. Barrett. Barrett ain't played too well. He had 10 points, but he was just jacking up shots, 4 of 18. I think the game after that, he played pretty badly as well too. Do you think with RJ Barrett is just going to take some time for him to come into his own, or do you think he had he's slowly getting the jitters out the way and getting adjusted to the speed and tempo of the NBA?
I think he has to just come into his own, get the tempo down. It might be half the season or so before we really see RJ Barrett is stuff or just superstar stuff. But we know he's gonna go into his own. We know he has the mindset for it. He has the ability to do for it, and the shot's gonna get better. I mean, it might take an off season for a shot to get there. Once he knows
It's gonna get there definitely.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Zion Williamson, which is the bigger story. Bruh, you remember when they had just scored, and then I forgot homie's name. He passed the ball to Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox kind of fumbled a little bit, and Zion Williamson essentially just grabbed the ball from him.
Okay.
And then he came and just yammed that joint with two hands. That shit was crazy, bro. That shit was OD.
I think Zion's gonna go stupid in the league, dog.
You gonna go stupid?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think he's gonna go stupid. Obviously, they had to end the game prematurely. One, he banged knees with another player, and then two, whatchamacallit, there was an earthquake, which is crazy. So they had to end the game. Knowing that Zion Williamson he's going to be the face of the league in a couple years, is one of the most hyped players since LeBron James, and also he's a number one pick. Do you think he owes it to the fans and the whole NBA to play, or is that a safe route?
The whole NBA to sit out.
He owes it to sit out, definitely. I just want to see what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I'm
that.
not sick.
Yeah, it's the summer league. He's fine. Even Lonzo Ball, you think he hurt his ankle, or was that Ingram? It don't even matter. You're number one pick. You're the future of the franchise. You're the future of the league in the future. One of the most hyped up players. Like I said, take your time, get better, and you'll be good. Not really that much to critique about his game yet because it's just raw. He's just playing off a raw time right now. But I kind of want him to lose some weight a little bit too.
I mean,
I don't want to put too much pressure on his knees. You know what I'm saying?
He's been that big his entire life, though. I mean,
he has too, but you're going up against men now.
He'll get there, dog.
He's gonna get there. And then,
I mean, they literally track NBA players' body fat, and if they're not, they'll find them. He'll get there.
So I think he can just get a little smaller, and then just probably his finishing around the rim for now, because the way he be going up below, he can get blocked a lot too with these other players. Other than that, I think he's gonna have a great season this year.
How many times did we see his shot get blocked in college, though?
Not that much, but this was just against the Knicks team. He was getting
shot blocked.
Yeah, he's getting shot blocked. But I mean, like I said, it's just they're babies. You know what I'm saying? Even if they aren't super productive this year, they're gonna get there. So, and Zion has enough talent around him to the point where he's good. You know what I'm saying? So he don't have to do too much, and I think he's gonna play well as well. Someone who you can play that. Who has shocked me, who I was kind of hating on a little bit, but not really. I just won't sold on him yet. Kobe White.
Hate.
Kobe White is tough, bro. He's really tough. 6'5", point guard at UNC. I think he was the all-time leading scorer for a point guard out of UNC. He's the second coming of Gilbert Arenas, bro. Wow. He's a good finisher. He's a great passer. He can pull up. He's a pick and roll maestro.
Gets to play alongside Zach LaVine.
He gets to play along Zach LaVine, who goes stupid, man. There's nothing that he can't do right now, honestly. All he got to do is work on his handles a little bit more, get a little stronger, and he good. Damn. If what's his name, Zach LaVine? Yeah. If he wasn't so ball dominant like that.
I don't think he's ball dominant.
You don't think he's ball dominant?
He had to be because who else?
There wasn't that much talent on there. Yeah. Okay. I feel like if he wasn't, well, I don't know. He can end up being rookie of the year as well too. It's just always changing. I just don't know what to expect. But he looked great. Any other outstanding players that you want to talk about?
Outstanding players. I think Keldon Johnson from the Spurs. He had a really, really good game. He's been going crazy. He had 29 points in just 25 minutes.
That's OD.
It's actually OD.
He's from VA too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's from
Chesterfield.
Knows how to play. He's from Chesterfield, bro. My boy Lamb, I think that's his cousin too. Yeah, hopefully we can get a connection with that in the future. But
That'd
yeah,
be crazy. Let's see. Another UVA prospect, and I just lost his name. But we'll say Kendrick Nunn from the Miami Heat. He had 27 points, 4 3-pointers, as the Heat rallied from 12 points down and they beat the Kings. But 4 3-pointers in probably not that many minutes at all. Devontae Coak hit with the Lakers. Let's see. He had 12 rebounds, 5 steals, 2 blocks, and scoring 16 points. So he filled up the stat sheet. Maybe he'll get pulled up if somebody gets hurt. Just players like that. And Tom Bradley, Utah Jazz, got drafted. He had 26 and 16, overpowered the Cavaliers. So these numbers are going crazy. These players. I had one more from the Heat, but it slipped my mind. But yeah, Summer League. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So definitely gonna give you some more, updates with Summer League. Obviously, the biggest topics, of this week and past week has been free agency, craziest free agency of probably of all time. OD. So obviously, Summer League just started, so we're gonna have some more time to see the progression of these players and whatnot as well too. And one thing I want to end with before we end the show is if you guys like to read this book right here. Andre Iguodala's Six Man. I'm not done yet. I'm almost like a third through. Amazing book. Iggy is a guy out of Springfield, Illinois, out of a small town where it's kind of a little segregated there, but he just talks about his upbringing, as well as, talking about race playing a huge part in him getting to where he needs to be and just what goes on behind the scenes with basketball. So really good book. I think you guys should definitely check this out. And it's a 5-star. But as far as like any last words I want to say, love you guys. Continue to support the Seezus Show. If you hear some noise on the side, that's my dog. He's a little sad he doesn't get to greet you guys to say bye. But always strive for perfection and just know you're not alone. And just put yourself in position to be great. Surround yourself with good people, and you get to where you want to be at.
Stay down till you can get up. Shout out to my little brother. He just signed, not signed. He just announced his official commitment to his JUCO, so he's gonna go play some hoop down there. And keep grinding even in your idle time. Use that time. You might feel like you're doing something right now that's not your dream, not your destiny, but use that time and dedicate it. Use those resources that you're getting from not being around that to get into your dream and your destiny. So I'm like that 9 to 5, use your idle time, go ahead and grind on the side, do a podcast, help your friends, do something, get big one day. That's all, you know what I'm saying?
For sure. My name's Sir Seezus. This is Tre. SeezusShow.com. Check that out on IG, on Twitter, at The Seezus Show, at Sir Seezus. What is your handle?
55. Episode 50. But my handle is TreDayXXIB. That's TREDAYXXIB.
Cool. Episode 55. We out.